When we first open up Cubase Pro 9, you're going to see a lot of visual changes. Now, you old-timers don't really have much to worry about because a lot of the old features are still readily available in the same manner that they were before. So it should be a fairly easy transition for everyone. And almost all of these new features make Cubase much more accessible to new users and just make the workflow smoother in a creative environment. Perhaps the most obvious change that we see immediately is the new transport bar docked right at the bottom of Cubase here. Now, you can still access the floating transport by pressing F2, just like in previous versions of Cubase. But with the transport now being immediately at the bottom, I've found, at least, that I don't really have much need to go back to the old transport. Now, just for comparison's sake, let's go ahead and pull up the old transport here by pressing F2 on the keyboard. You'll recall in the Cubase Pro 8 update where they added these foldable sections into the transport menus, and we still have those same things down in the transport bar at the bottom here. So if there's a particular control that you're not seeing that you used to use in the transport bar, make sure to unfold to reveal additional controls. And just as in previous versions of Cubase, this area down at the bottom is also customizable, where you can show different groups of controls that you would like to show or hide. Just right-click on an empty spot of the bar, or click the gear icon and configure it that way. And also be sure to check within the setup menu to make sure that there aren't any hidden items that you used to use in the previous version of the transport. You can easily re-enable them again by selecting them in the hidden items column and then clicking on add. In previous versions of Cubase, if any MIDI device became disconnected while Cubase was running, you would need to shut down Cubase and launch it again for it to rescan those new devices. But in Cubase Pro 9, those devices can be plugged into your computer without needing to restart Cubase. And here you can see me unplugging and plugging back in my KeyStation MIDI controller. So it's a very, very cool new feature for Windows users. And for all Cubase users, we should be seeing some really awesome performance improvements across the board. There's been quite a few under-the-hood improvements that were made that are just going to enhance stability and reliability even more, some of which we're going to talk about in later videos. And coming up, we'll be learning all about the new concept of focus zones. We're going to check out some of the enhancements with markers, and learn all about the brand new sampler track that is going to change the way that you work with music in Cubase. We have some cool new improvements made to our mix console. We have a brand new EQ plugin. We have some stability improvements that comes from the brand new plugin Sentinel. And we can now do some really cool new stuff with Retrolog. Some of our plugins get a facelift, and our maximizer gets a few new features.